Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. It's time for a modern family mansion in Delta Valley. You can see that I was going for this hyper modern look, lots of contrasts. I've once again used a dark roof swatch, but the walls are completely white, so there's a nice contrast going on. And I wanted to put a heavy focus on different levels. So there's a walkout basement, and as you can also see, I've used so many platforms to make this build more interesting, and as soon as there's only a height difference of one step, your Sims can traverse, so you can use the steps as stairs. And you can see that I haven't even used lots of platforms, like there are only a couple of steps, but I still recommend using the tallest wall height when you are building something like this, because you're running out of wall height so easily, because the platforms are basically placed on the outside, right on your wall. It's not like foundations where the building is kind of sitting on top of the platform, so you always have to keep this in mind. And as soon as I'm using lots of platforms, I'm always using the tallest wall height, at least at the bottom. And I then just expanded the build a bit. I knew that I would like to have a really fancy pool, and eventually I ended up with 3 pools, because there will be one in the walkout basement section and then one in the basement, like an indoor pool. So if your Sims are into swimming, into the fancy lifestyle, then this build might be perfect. I've also built a small house on the exterior, like a small pool house or something, and this house could be perfect for a butler. I've included a kitchen, a bed, just anything your Sims might need in this one tiny house. So if your butler sleeps in this small house, the butler has just anything they need, so this could be perfect as well. Or you could use it just for maybe a teenager Sim who's older, still living on the lot, but they have like their own little space, which is also super cool. I just wanted to include lots of small Easter eggs in different areas here. And for the windows, I've just combined the small windows from Snowy Escape. I've essentially just placed them on top of each other to have this look. In a build recently, I've used base game shelves to have this type of look, which looked even cooler, but you have to use the tool mod to rotate all the shelves. Here in this case, I wanted to like make it more simple, and I've just placed all these windows on top of each other, so you can just do it yourself. If you do this, they might be flickering a little bit. To prevent this, I've used the tool mod, and I've just moved some of them like a teeny tiny bit, so they are not flickering. So if you grab this, there won't be any flickering. But yeah, if you do this yourself, you have to keep this in mind. But I mean, I don't think that flickering is too bad, but I know that a lot of people are annoyed by this. Also, whenever I've used the pristine pedestal in the past, people were like, but it's flickering. So I got you. I made sure that it's not flickering this time. And I've used a wooden color for the platforms because I wanted to have a deep black, really dark swatch for the platform, so it looks really nice and just the same as the floor. And yeah, the wooden one was just perfect for this. And here at this point, I've already added the basement. I've just built a regular basement, and I've removed the ceiling by clicking on the yellow outline, and I think it adds so much complexity to a build like this. I love just having different levels, and just using a basement is such a simple trick to make a build more interesting. It's a bit more difficult when you are new to the terrain tools, if you are using the other method that I'm always talking about, but using a basement is like really easy. Here I'm working on the small building that I've mentioned earlier, and it's just like really compact. It's more like a tiny home. I mean, not proper tiny, because we all know that tiny homes in this game are like really tiny and such a challenge to build. So it's like not tiny, but it's really on the smaller side. But I was really able to squeeze in a kitchen, a bathroom, just anything your Sim or your butler might need. And I think it's still so exciting that we got butlers with the Vintage Glamour stuff pack. This is probably the most exciting stuff pack ever, because it just included such a really huge feature, and I really hope that we will get to see another stuff pack soon. I've talked about this recently, but yeah, where are all the stuff packs? I love the building kits, but I also want to have a stuff pack again. And yeah, this is like such a monochrome, really neutral colored build. I just think it looks so edgy and modern. It has this converted farmhouse look. I'm just so obsessed with this type of style, and it's relatively simple when it comes to the shade, but I think all the colors, like the contrast, I mean not the colors but like the contrasts and everything, makes it so interesting. And this really tiny fence, which is made out of glass, is part of Get Famous, but you can only find it in the fence section when you've activated the debug and live edit sheets. And if you have trouble with anything, just leave a comment down below. Like recently someone was asking how to access debug and everything, so just leave a comment down below and I will get back to you if you have any troubles. I have also lots of tutorials. I know that there are so many brand new simmers out there because the game is free, and which is like so exciting. I feel like the community is growing even more currently. There are so many new simmers exploring the game, exploring build mode, and this is like super exciting to me because this game means so much to me and just to so many people. It's been out, like when you think of Sims 1, since the year 2000, over 20 years now, and it's like such a big deal to so many. And I think it's always really exciting whenever like new people explore something that's so big for others and so meaningful. Like there are some young players like who just explore the game, who just grabbed it for free, and they are now simmers, and I just love this. I'm really excited about the fact that it's free. I think it's a really good approach, and I'm just really happy about that. If you are a new simmer who has grabbed the game for free, leave a comment down below. I'm always excited to hear about this because I think there are a lot of new simmers here as well. Maybe like watching the videos, I feel like some of you might be new here, and I'm really happy about this. And yeah, I'm landscaping a bit, and you all know that I have a tendency to build houses which are gigantic, and I really like to use up the complete space of a lot, which is not really good because if you want to have a nice balanced layout, it's always nice to have a bit of space around the house left. So you have a nice front yard, there's enough space for landscaping, it's not looking too crammed in. And here, surprisingly, I've really managed to build the house in the center, and there's just so much space left. So there's a nice garden in the back, there was enough space for a front yard, and I just love this so much. Like this type of layout where you have like a huge lawn and maybe trees. Like for any of you who are following the Kardashians, maybe even just for fun, for the drama, who have been watching the show, when you think of Kim's house, I think the interior is like weird because it's so minimalistic. Like even if you're like, I don't like the Kardashians, and I mean, who does? But I mean, like even if you're like, I have no idea and I don't want to hear about them, you have to Google Kim Kardashian's house, like the interior, and you are in for a really ride, because this is like the most minimalistic house you've ever seen. It's completely monochrome, it's completely white, and there's almost no furniture. It's almost surreal. It feels not even real. It's like a really weird interior, and I'm just telling you this because I feel like everyone like should look at the pictures and be like, what is this? But what I actually want to say is her house is super weird on the interior, but what I really like is on the exterior there's like this huge lawn and there are trees. It looks like a park, and when you look out of the window you have like this open space and there's nature. I mean, this is of course like a completely other conversation actually, like about water usage and how like a house like this is not sustainable, how no one should build a house like this in California and use up all the water for the trees and the lawn in the garden and all that stuff. But I mean, like generally, like living in nature, maybe in a place where all of this happens without using too much water, it looks so beautiful. And this is kind of the vibe that I've gotten here, like the front yard and everything, and the trees, and it's very spacious and open. And yet you just have to Google the house. If you don't know about the house, Google it and come back to the comments and tell me how shocked you are, because sometimes I'm just looking at the pictures and I'm like, what is this? You know how much I'm obsessed with modern architecture, minimalistic designs. Like whenever I look at real life houses, and like my boyfriend is always like, okay, this is looking too cold, this is looking like too white, and like these houses which look like a UFO on the inside. There's like no color, it's really bright and just white, and you feel like you're in a UFO. And sometimes I like really modern minimalistic designs, and here's always like, no, who wants to live in this? But like Kim Kardashian's house is where I'm drawing the line. I wouldn't want to live there. On the other hand, minimalistic designs, they calm me down. I feel like whenever I have too much clutter around me, I feel stressed. So I feel like a house like this like would calm me down, but this is too much. This does not feel like a home. It doesn't feel cozy. I mean, to each their own, but yeah, just come back to the comments and tell me what you think about the house. But enough about the Kardashians and enough about the exterior, because now I'm furnishing. There are 3 bedrooms, I think, and there's 1 master bedroom. The other bedrooms are just kids' rooms, and you can see that this one is like a big pink, a bit pastel colored, really warm colored. The light in Desert Valley is just the best, so you can see when the light is like coming in, look how cozy, warm and beautiful this looks. And I just had so much fun building this, because family homes will always be my favorite type of build. I love it so much. And also Christmas is approaching fast. I have a Christmas shell going. You can check it out on my channel. The video is like, I don't know, on my channel pretty high up, because it's not too old, like the video. And yeah, you can check it out and you can enter the shell challenge, and the rules are completely different. Like I've restricted the rules a lot. Like you are not allowed to add any walls, for example, so you really just grab the shell and decorate it. So you can just place the shell, and it's all about creating a floor plan on the interior and decorating the exterior. So you cannot add any buildings, you cannot really change the appearance of the building itself by a lot. So all shells should look very similar, and this was kind of my main mission, because some people felt like that it's not a fair competition when you have like a shell and then someone is building a completely different building around it, essentially. So this shell is much more restricted. So if you did not like my older shell challenges because of this, then this one might be for you. And here I'm working on the basement. This is the 3rd pool on this lot. This is the interior pool, the indoor pool, and it's also just very fancy. I've added lots of mirrors, and you can just have a swim here. There's also a sauna, of course a bathroom, different objects from Spa Day, so your Sims can just have the best time and relax down there. And this is it. You can here see lots of screenshots. This build is available in the gallery. My ID is KateEmerald, and you can also grab the tray files from my Patreon. And speaking of which, it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons and my Emerald YouTube members. A big thank you to Mehmet Ali Baris Khan, Jake Wrighthouse, Lady Sims KTY, Lisa Martin, Stephanie Mead, Saturated Spark, Shannon McClam, Stemlicious, Stephen, Alona Bleu, and Andrew Hill. A big thank you for your gigantic support. A big thank you to all my other Patreons and all my other YouTube members. I appreciate all of your support so much. And of course, a big thank you to anyone who's here and watching my videos. I love you so much. Thank you for everything, and thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this house and this video. If you have any requests or any questions, leave a comment down below. I hope you will have a perfect week, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.